we're going to do is talk about how we pay for our curbside service, the value we put on our curbside service, and really a compare and contrast of different communities, how they do it, what they charge, and what they offer. So I think what we'll find is, I mean, I'll cut right to it. We have to raise our curbside, how we pay for our curbside collection services. And what we'll do tonight is illustrate why, how, and still the value we're providing our residents. So here we go. Now back in 2015, 2016, what we did is took how we pay for it out of the taxes. It used to be part of your taxes, and unbeknownst to probably everybody for the 100 years before, apparently, according to sources now, that's illegal to do because it's more of a user fee, so we removed it. And there was a lot of inequity because garbage has nothing to do with the assessed value of your home. And I'll go over a couple different ways the communities do it, and there's probably more efficient ways and more fair ways to do it, but how we do it is how we do it, and people are comfortable with our service. It's just a matter of how we're going to pay for it. So one advantage of now going to a per unit charge is that all of the people who enjoyed our curbside collection, even your tax exempts and places like that, now had to pay for the collection. So, and remember, our curbside service includes weekly refuse, recycling, and yard waste collection. And that's important because when we surveyed different communities, everyone doesn't offer that. They offer a lot less, and it seems like they pay a lot more. So, and this again, this slide right here, current, proposed, obviously, and me included, nobody likes to pay more for something. But I think what we haven't done in the last 5 to 6 years is even entertained increasing these prices or looking at it. You know, I fumbled that. I'll take responsibility for that. But with that being said, we still had a landfill back in the day. Now that that's gone, it's a kind of a transition period for us now with just a transfer station, refuse collection, but we still have our legacy costs associated with the landfill. So the comptroller sat down and we went through, and what we've done is combined all three of the funds. So you have your AL, which is your legacy cost for the landfill, EM is our transfer station, CL is our refuse collection, and we've combined them all. So what you see here is, and I'll leave that up so everybody can look at it, and I'll explain what we're doing and why this is needed. And still, the value we're providing our residents for a lot less than other communities are providing.
Mr. Talbot?
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I just want to point something out. If going back to the first slide, the curbside collection, where you kind of give a history of how we started doing this, why we started doing this. You know, if I remember correctly, we were kind of getting dinged by auditors because we technically weren't doing it correctly. As you mentioned, it was rolled into taxes. It's a service that has to be whole. It wasn't whole. The general fund was subsidizing it. And when we instituted that now 6 years ago at $10 per month, what we also did that often gets missed, and it got missed here, is we lowered the tax rate. And I believe it was by 4%. I wouldn't quote me on that because I don't remember it. I would like to get that number and so that we're accurate on that. We actually lowered the tax rate when we instituted this. So it wasn't, the tax rate stayed the same, and then there's this additional fee on top of it. And I think that's important for everybody to remember.
And currently, and I'm glad you provided that memory, because still this has nothing to do with your assessed value of your home or anything. This is a per unit charge for a really a service that our residents really value, and I'll show you some of the quantities we do. So current, proposed, pretty self-explanatory, and I think everyone hopefully will understand the justification for the proposed. What we did is a pretty good evaluation of different communities. We took 15 communities in central New York, and we'll go over it. So this is what it breaks down to: $240 per unit, which is $4.62 a week, 66 cents a day. And it's one of those services where you use it every day, even though you don't drag to the curb, but 2 days a week, Mondays and whatever your collection day is, you're also throwing those things away in your kitchen basket or in your bathroom basket, which is part of this service. You don't have to worry about it. You gather it up. hopefully the night before. You know, some people prefer the morning of. They hear the hopper in the truck coming down the street, and it's a mad dash to get it to the curb before we go by. But that all works too. And you can see even the non-residential properties, small, and I think if they do their homework, whomever those people are that participate in the program, they'll see the value of it. And there's also improvements we can make after we continue this on, because what I think we should do is entertain this every year, this rate. It's kind of hard to forecast, because right now even, you know, we pay $32 a ton at Seneca Meadows up through July 1st, and then it changes to 35. So those, so you can see right there at roughly 12,000 tons a year, you're looking at $30,000 more next year than even this year, just on that alone, let alone what fuel's going to cost or any of the maintenance stuff. So does anyone have any questions about that? It's 66 cents a day. That's what our residents will pay for a service that is really unmatched by any municipality around here. This is I don't expect everybody to understand everything or look at it all. These are the communities we talked to. We looked at their information. I called several of them when I had questions, and we kind of, so that includes them all, but if we go on, we break it down. So we surveyed 15 upstate communities and how much they value curbside collection services. And when I like the word value, because we'll see here, Geneva and Oswego don't do anything for the residents. It's up to them to figure out what they're going to do with their garbage. The only thing they do is provide a list of private haulers. So 11 offer public curbside collection services. Like I said, two don't offer anything. 2 bid out the service and have 1 contractor for the curbside service, which is Rome and Seneca Falls. And remember, the village was dissolved, so it's really all the town of Seneca Falls, which is probably a bad, but I had to include them in there because you don't know what kind of deal they have going with the Seneca Meadows landfill. Whether they have a deal at all, I don't know. But 2 city-controlled contracts with only 1 can for garbage and 1 for recycling. And what I have found is that if there's a private company involved, you get 1 can. And sometimes you get what you pay for. You can opt for a cheaper price, but picking up garbage every other week, or you can pay the full price and get weekly service. So our residents get 2 stops a week. Nobody offers the yard waste collection that we do. Everyone just wants to think of garbage. This only pays for garbage, but it also pays for recycling collection and yard waste. And it pays for picking up Christmas trees, and it pays for bulk item program, which some communities don't offer. This is a big one. Nothing can be placed outside of a can and must be bags placed into cans. That's the majority of the private collection and some of the municipals that provide a toter. You only get 1. You can rent a second one, but you also have to pay a second price. So we offer 5 containers. That's unheard of. There's one community, Elmira, offers 6, but those are just bags, and they're limited to 30 pounds.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
I believe it's like $6.95 for those 6 bags, right? So they would have to buy.
The places do it differently. I think Elmira is one you can buy 6 bags, what they call a large bag, which is probably 18-gallon or 24-gallon for $6.95. But remember, you can only put 30 pounds in. And what I found also with that survey, and I'm trying to find the right word to say, but they have, and I'll go into a little bit how we've changed what we do, but they have 0 tolerance for violators. If somebody is issued a fine or a citation, they pay it. There's no backing off on anything. There's visual evidence, and it is what it is. You violated our ordinance. You made our town look, shoddy, and you'll pay for it. And what they found is that, it's tough love for 6 to 8 months, but everybody catches on, or they continue to pay. So, it just goes to, right, I can look right out the window here. They did a great job cleaning the yard next door, but it's all in black bags and plastic bags sitting there. I wonder where it's going to go next. So those are the things, education-wise, we probably need to do a little better job, but we've posted it so many times on what's acceptable. So, a lot of places too, bulk items must be taken to a facility and a fee charge per item. We do curbside service. Other communities, you gotta load your refrigerator up in Uncle Fred's truck if he's around, and then bring it to somewhere and still pay to have it dumped. Two cities still have curbside service in the taxes, that's Syracuse and Canandaigua, so we really didn't, I just reviewed a little bit of what their policies are. It's really not comparable to what we do. These were the ones, the good comparisons, Auburn, Watertown, Elmira, and Jamestown, which all do a per unit charge. Watertown kind of offers a hybrid. They have a toter option, but they also have a per bag option. And if anybody is concerned about having to pay a lot for, or if they think this is totally out of sight, this prices, then they ought to investigate supporting a pay per bag, which we've talked about in this very room before, and it hasn't really been accepted or even wanted any investigation into it. But that is how you pay for only what you throw away. Similar to if I only want $20 worth of gas, I stop the pump at $20. I don't put in 40 if I can only afford 20. So that's how you can really control your cost of garbage collection, is if you pay per bag. But we're not there yet, so we're still doing the per unit. I just wanted to bring that up. That's really people control their own destiny then. Watertown has a bulk item list similar to ours, similar charges. They do offer curbside collection of that, but they have a limited yard waste and brush collection. They only allow, I believe, 1 week out of 4 months where they'll do brush. Elmira offers the 30-pound limit and 6-bag maximum, and that's a 30-pound, which isn't much, for $365 a year. They have no bulk item collection. Items must be taken to a privately run facility for a fee. They also have a limited yard waste and brush collection. So they also offer it only 1 week a month for probably 4 months. Whereas remember, ours is, we don't do yard waste collection if a holiday a major holiday like Memorial Day falls on a Monday. We don't do yard waste that, but we're probably collecting yard waste at least 46 weeks out of the year. Surprisingly, people do yard work in the winter. I don't know where it comes from, but it shows up. Let alone, we collect probably 4 tons of Christmas trees a year. Jamestown, this was an interesting evaluation for Jamestown. $276 per unit per year, very similar to ours being $240, but they have 1 can they provide, but you have to bag it and you have to place it in the tote. No loose garbage allowed. If you leave a bag outside, they charge you $5 a bag and $25 an occurrence for the bag outside, and then they'll do it again. But you can also rent a second tote for $13 a month, but they don't back off on anything. And what we've done this year, and I thank the mayor and council for supporting kind of our, I don't want to say aggressive, but our probably more thorough way of how we're monitoring what gets put to the curb. Jeremy Hudson, you saw him earlier tonight, moved into that position full-time, kind of the municipal recycling officer, but also on the codes end also, and it's really been helpful. It's really educational for people, and honestly, some people just don't know or they forget year to year. On the other hand, there's people who feel that these simple rules to follow don't apply to them. So, and those are the people we constantly have to work. And I'll tell you, we've all seen the bulk items just dragged out to the curb with no rhyme or reason, or things disassembled, and it's really, the majority, I hope no one's getting the wrong picture, the majority of our residents are great. They follow the rules, they're helpful, they're appreciative, but there's a group out there that really doesn't think these rules apply to them. So, and that's where it gets a little frustrating. But what I have found, to get back to my point, was there's just zero tolerance in other communities. If you want your community to look good, you really have to follow through. One thing Jeremy's offering us is the consistency of that out there 40 hours a week. So, and I know, Jeremy, your position's not easy. You get, you run into it both barrels sometimes, but he sits there and takes it and explains why we're doing what we're doing.